Hi, hello everybody. I'm welcoming you to the third part of my series of talks on my book, which is called Tarot: The Quest for Egypt. Now, last time we talked about the Kabbalah and where that came from and how it got linked to the very early Christians and the Cathars. And before that, we saw how the Kabbalah was linked to the Tarot. Today, I want to talk about Alexandria. Now, Alexandria is where the Gnostic Christians began. It's also a place, as we know, with the famous library. Now, this library wasn't only a library, it was basically a university that was state funded, and the lecturers that worked there were very famous and learned men from all over the world, because the Greeks realized that knowledge is power. So the Library of Alexandria was designed as a place to accumulate all the knowledge in the known world and convert it into Greek. So the Greeks wanted power. That's why they had their library. And but because they realized that knowledge was power, they encouraged people of all faiths and all beliefs and all the disciplines that were known at the time to come to Alexandria and use the library, talk to each other. So they employed what we would call like lecturers, and they're all men except for one very famous lady that I think they made a film about her, but most of them were men, and they were paid to teach in the library, and they were paid to write books, do research. They talked to each other, and it was a wonderful environment for learning to be generated, as universities can be even now. So what happened was that the Hebrew beliefs and the Christian beliefs and the Greek beliefs, the Roman beliefs and the Egyptian beliefs in the world and how it works were all held in this library, and people from each discipline were talking to each other about it. So it was a very multicultural place. I mean, there were race riots and there were occasional conflicts between different groups of people, as there are today, but knowledge itself was prized. And so this is where the early Christians got their ideas from, about how the world works. So one of the people that influenced them was were people who were the Greek mysteries, people who believed in the Greek mysteries. And the idea that they had was that there was one universal consciousness, and there were many different aspects of this universal consciousness, and you could work your way through these different aspects, and then by reaching the top of that, you would find perfection, which is the theme that runs through all these beliefs, and it's expressed in different ways depending on which background you come from, but it's basically the same belief. So these ideas went right back to the very early Christians. Now, the next thing I wanted to look at was how these beliefs were linked to ancient Egypt, because as far as I knew, that this idea of going through beliefs in stages didn't exist in ancient Egypt, but it did exist in the work of a man called Iamblichus, who is now my favorite Greek philosopher, because he wrote a book which explained all and gave answers to all of my deepest spiritual questions, because he had the gift of explaining spiritual matters in a way that made sense, which is very rare. So I'll be talking about him in my next video. So if you want to like and follow this, or look in the comments or in my bio for the link to my book, that would be great. Thank you.